You just got the news. The project you poured your heart into for the last 6 months completely failed. The promotion you were certain was yours just went to someone else. The relationship you thought was your future is over, and now you're just sitting with it. That hollow feeling in your chest. The thought of even trying to start over feels impossible. The weight of it all is just crushing, and a voice in your head is whispering that you'll never recover from this. What if I told you that feeling, that sense of being completely broken by a setback, isn't a life sentence? What if the ability to get back up, to bounce back, wasn't some magic personality trait you're either born with or not? What if it were a set of simple, practical skills? Skills you could start learning right here, today? Because it is. Resilience is not a gift for the lucky few. It's a muscle. And in this video, we're going to walk through the exact exercises you need to build that muscle and turn your most painful setbacks into your greatest comebacks. Section 1. The anatomy of a setback, why it hurts so much. First things first, before we can build, we have to understand what we're up against. Why does a major setback feel so physically and emotionally devastating? It's not just in your head. There's a real biological storm happening inside you. Think about it. When you're working towards something you're excited about, your brain is running on dopamine. Dopamine is the motivation molecule. It's that forward-pulling energy you feel when you anticipate a reward. A sudden setback is like someone yanking the plug out of the wall. The reward you were expecting vanishes and your dopamine levels crash. That's the flat, deflated. What's the point? Feeling, it isn't a flaw in your character, it's a chemical reaction. At the exact same time, your brain's threat detector, the amygdala, starts freaking out. It screams, danger. But it can't tell the difference between the threat of a failed project and the threat of a tiger in the room. This floods your system with the stress hormone cortisol. While all this is happening, the logical, rational part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex that handles planning and decision-making, gets temporarily knocked offline. So you're left with zero motivation, sky-high stress, and you can't think straight. That's the storm inside your brain. And when you're in it, telling yourself to just get over it is like telling a ship to sail straight during a hurricane. It doesn't work. The first step is just to understand this. You're not broken. Your brain is just doing its job, responding to a massive shock. And the beautiful thing is, our brains are built to change and rewire themselves. It's called neuroplasticity. Every single experience, especially the painful ones, is a chance for your brain to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Section 2. The resilience myth, debunking the born with it idea. For so long, we've talked about resilience like it's eye color, you either have it or you don't. That might be one of the most damaging myths out there. The truth, backed by tons of research, is that resilience isn't a fixed trait. It's a set of skills and attitudes that you can absolutely learn and strengthen at any point in your life. Think about it like physical fitness. Nobody is born with six-pack abs and the ability to run a marathon. You build those things with consistent effort and the right exercises. You go to the gym, you lift weights, you run, and over time, your body adapts and gets stronger. Emotional resilience works the exact same way. It's your ability to adapt to stress and adversity, and you can train it. Every time you use a healthy coping strategy, you are literally strengthening the resilience pathways in your brain. This is incredibly good news. It means your past doesn't define your future. If you feel like you haven't handled setbacks well before, it doesn't mean you're stuck in that pattern forever. It just means you haven't been taught the right emotional exercises yet. It means you have a chance to hit the mental gym. This flips the script from feeling like a victim of your circumstances to being the architect of your own strength. The strategies we're about to cover are your workout plan. They are the core exercises that will build your power not just to get through challenges, but to actually thrive because of them. Section 3. The foundation, your support system. So where do we start our training? The very first, and maybe the most important, exercise has nothing to do with gritting your teeth and going it alone. It starts with connection. Building and leaning on a strong support system is one of the most powerful shields against the mental and emotional toll of a setback. When you feel isolated and overwhelmed, Human connection gives you the resources to get through the storm. This isn't about having hundreds of friends online. It's about having a few real, high-quality connections where you feel safe and understood. Think of your support system like scaffolding around a building that's under construction. It provides the stability and safety you need to do the hard work of rebuilding yourself. So what does this look like in real life? It starts with being intentional. It means actively putting energy into your relationships, both personal and professional. Don't wait until you're in a crisis to realize you've let those connections fade. Make the call to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Schedule a coffee with a mentor you trust. Invest time in your family. Even more important is learning to be vulnerable and ask for help. This is so hard because setbacks often make us feel ashamed, and our first instinct is to hide. But reaching out is an act of incredible strength, not weakness. When you do reach out, try to be specific. Sometimes you need advice. Other times, you just need someone to listen without trying to fix it, to just validate that what you're feeling is real and normal. Sharing your story with someone can shrink the problem down to size and remind you that you are not the only person who has ever gone through something like this. Joining a group, whether it's a professional organization, a hobby club, or a support group, can also be huge. These communities give you a sense of belonging that can be incredibly grounding when everything else feels shaky. Remember, resilience isn't built in a vacuum. It's built in the safe space of supportive relationships. This is your foundation. Build it strong. Section 4. The Mindset Shift, Rewiring Your Brain for Growth. With a strong foundation of support, the next part of our training is all internal. It's about the stories you tell yourself when things go wrong. This is where we get into the growth mindset. The term was coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, and it's the simple belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's the total opposite of a fixed mindset, which tells you that your traits are set in stone. When you see a setback through a fixed mindset, it feels like a final verdict. Failure means you're not smart enough, not good enough. It's paralyzing. But with a growth mindset, a setback isn't a verdict, it's feedback. It's just part of the learning process. It's a chance to figure out what went wrong and get better. This one, tiny shift in how you see things, is the engine of resilience. It turns crushing obstacles into opportunities. So how do you actually do this? You start by listening to your own thoughts. Pay attention to the automatic negative stories that pop into your head after a failure. This is a core idea from cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. Notice when you fall into thinking traps, like catastrophizing, where you immediately jump to the worst-case scenario, or black and white thinking, where something is either a total success or a complete failure with no in-between. When you catch yourself thinking this way, gently challenge it. Ask yourself, is that thought 100% true? What's a more realistic way to look at this? What did I learn from this that I can use next time? Another powerful tool here is self-compassion. So often the way we talk to ourselves is brutal. We'd never talk to a friend that way. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer to someone you love. It means accepting that you're hurting without judgment and remembering that failure is a universal human experience. This isn't about making excuses. It's about giving yourself the psychological safety to get back up and try again. And research shows that being kinder to yourself actually makes you more resilient. By consciously choosing to reframe your story, you are literally rewiring your brain, weakening those old, fixed mindset pathways and carving out new, stronger ones for growth. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. Speaking of reframing our experiences, I'd love to hear from you. Think of a small setback you've dealt with recently. In the comments below, share one thing you learned from it. Your story could be the exact thing someone else needs to see to help them look at their own situation differently. And hey, if you're getting value from this, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're all about building this kind of mental strength together. Section 5. The Action Plan, Taking Back Control. Understanding your brain and shifting your mindset are huge, but resilience is ultimately proven by action. That feeling of helplessness after a setback is one of the worst parts. The antidote to helplessness is taking small, deliberate steps to get back a sense of control. This is where we go from thinking to doing. The first step here is to embrace change. Life is unpredictable. Resilient people get that change is the only constant, and they learn to be flexible when things don't go to plan. This means letting go of your rigid idea of how things should have been and being open to new paths. It's about accepting the reality of what happened, not because you like it, but because you can't find a new path until you accept where you are right now. Once you've accepted the new reality, it's time to set small, realistic, and achievable goals. After a big failure, your confidence is probably shot. The thought of some huge, ambitious goal is completely overwhelming. The key is to break things down into laughably small steps. What is one tiny thing you can do today? It could be as simple as updating one paragraph on your resume, going for a 10-minute walk, or sending a single email. Every time you tick off one of these micro goals, two things happen. First, you create real, tangible progress. Second, and more importantly, you send a powerful message to your brain. I can still do things. I am still in control. This rebuilds your self-belief and creates a positive upward spiral. You stop focusing on the problem, which you can't control, and start focusing on solutions, which you can. Taking action, no matter how small, is how you pull your brain out of anxiety and back into a state of purpose. Section 6. The sustenance, self-care, and self-compassion. If your action plan is the engine, then self-care is the fuel. It's so easy to neglect your own well-being when you're scrambling to recover. We treat self-care like a reward we'll get to when everything is fixed. That is a huge mistake. Looking after your physical and emotional health isn't a luxury. It's a core strategy for resilience. You can't face adversity running on empty. Let's start with the basics. Your mental and physical health are completely connected. That means getting enough good sleep, eating decent food, drinking water, and moving your body. Exercise is especially powerful. It burns off stress hormones like cortisol and releases mood-boosting endorphins. You don't need to train for a marathon. Even a brisk walk can totally change your mental state. Beyond the physical stuff, you need to learn how to actively calm your nervous system. When a setback sends your stress through the roof, things like deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness are game changers. Mindfulness is just the simple practice of paying attention to the present moment without judging it. Research shows that mindfulness can make you more resilient by helping you regulate your emotions. Just taking 2 minutes to practice slow, deep breathing sends a signal to your brain that you're safe, and it can pull you out of that fight or flight panic. Finally, make time for things that bring you joy or peace. This could be journaling, listening to music, spending time in nature, or getting lost in a hobby. These aren't just distractions. They are how you recharge your emotional batteries. Spending time outside, for example, is proven to lower stress and just make you feel better. Self-care is just about consistently doing the things that fill you back up, so you have the strength to face whatever comes next. Section 7. The long view, perspective, and purpose. The final pieces of our resilience training are about lifting your eyes from the immediate crisis and connecting with something bigger. This is all about perspective and purpose. During a setback, it's so easy to get tunnel vision where the problem feels like your entire world. Keeping a broader perspective helps you stop catastrophizing and reminds you that this moment, as hard as it is temporary. It's a chapter in your life, not the whole book. A great way to practice this is with gratitude. Actively thinking about the good things in your life, your health. A good friend, a moment of beauty, shifts your focus from what you've lost to what you still have. Keeping a gratitude journal sounds cheesy, but it's a profound way to retrain your brain to see the good. Beyond perspective, connecting with your sense of purpose is a powerful anchor in a storm. Your purpose is your why. It's what gives your life meaning. When you have a strong sense of why you're doing what you're doing, a setback feels less like a personal failure and more like a detour on a much longer journey. It gives you a reason to keep going when it's hard. If you're not sure what your purpose is, this can be a great time to explore. What do you care about? What kind of impact do you want to have? What makes you feel alive? When you connect your small, daily actions to that bigger meaning, recovery stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like a calling. So let's bring it all together. You've been knocked down. It feels permanent, but what we've learned today is that it's not. Bouncing back isn't magic, it's a skill, and you can build it. It starts with your foundation of connection because we are always stronger together. It continues by rewiring your mind for growth so you can see every challenge as a lesson. You put it into practice with a real action plan, taking small steps to get back in the driver's seat. You sustain it with self-care and self-compassion, fueling yourself for the road ahead. And you guide it with perspective and purpose, anchoring yourself in what truly matters. Remember, small, consistent steps will always beat big, dramatic changes that you can't stick with. The journey to resilience is a marathon, not a sprint. Setbacks don't mean you're broken. They are a non-negotiable part of a meaningful life. But with these tools, they don't have to be the end of your story. In fact, they can be the very thing that makes you stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever were before. You don't just bounce back, you bounce forward. If this guide on building resilience hit home for you, you'll probably also get a lot out of our video on developing a growth mindset. You can watch that by clicking the link on the screen right now. Thank you for investing this time in yourself today. Don't forget to subscribe for more content to help you build a stronger, more resilient life. Keep building. I'll see you in the next one.